There are thousands of mantras, thousands of prayers. Maybe you don't understand Hindi, you don't understand Sanskrit completely, so that's intimidating. There's Shiva, there's Krishna, there's Vishnu. There are so many holidays celebrating so many different deities, right? And there are so many scriptures. There's the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Itihasas, Agamas, Tantras. Hinduism is so vast that it branches in so many directions that it can feel overwhelming and intimidating. And this is the point of this video, okay? And the point of this page in general, actually. It is to make you understand that it is okay to feel that little bit of overwhelm, to feel that little bit of intimidation, but still understand that Hinduism can become simple for you, okay? And the way it becomes simple is to understand that no matter which avenue you choose to go through, no matter which scripture, no matter which deity you choose to follow, no matter which prayer, no matter which direction you go, the teachings will all kind of distill to a handful of fundamental, foundational teachings of Hinduism, okay? This is the point that I want to push across to you, is that no matter what avenue you choose to follow, there will be a handful of foundational teachings that that Hindu philosophy, that Hindu scripture, that Hindu deity will be messaging to you, let's say, right? So what are those, some of those foundational principles? You will have dharma, right? You'll have karma, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, right? And what is the cause of suffering, let's say? So some of the, and I am not mentioning all of them, but you will see that as we go through this video, a lot of these teachings will revolve around those foundational principles. And I hope by understanding that all these teachings can be distilled in a handful of foundational principles, it will make a little more sense to you, bring a little more clarity and a little more systematic understanding, right? So let's say we're talking about dharma, right? So what is dharma? Dharma is performing your duty, living in a righteous way, in a truthful way, right? So how does the Bhagavad Gita teach dharma? No matter what you do, right? Whatever, if your dharma is to be a teacher, to be a mother, to be a parent, to be a doctor, to be whatever in society, right? Your dharma will be guided by a set of rules and understandings and qualities, right? And in the Bhagavad Gita, that is in chapter 16. Chapter 16 describes to us the demonic and the divine qualities of somebody. And regardless which path you choose to go through in your dharma, those qualities will be good to bring into that path, right? So let's look at, let's say, chapter 16. Verses 1 to 3 will give you the divine qualities, and verses 4 to 20 will give you the demonic qualities of somebody, right? So by understanding these qualities, now you're understanding, okay, if I have to follow dharma, these are the qualities that I want to inject in my life, and these are the qualities that when I notice, I want to pluck them out, let's say, right? But now let's connect it to another scripture. If you choose to study the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? Patanjali Yoga Sutras teaches the same principles, but yamas and niyamas, right? So now it's ahimsa, it's non-violence, it's non-stealing, it's brahmacharya is moderation, right? It's control of lust, right? Let's say non-possessiveness is attachment and aversion. Aversion, it is raga, dvesha, right? And here it's cleanliness, it's contentment, self-discipline. What is self-discipline? It's karma yoga, right? Which is doing actions, selflessly serving in the world or to yourself, actions without attachments, right? What is self-study? Jnana yoga. What is surrender to God? That's bhakti yoga, right? So you will see that whatever avenue you choose to go under, these fundamental principles are being taught, but just in a slightly different angle, right? So in the Rig Veda, they say that there's a saying, truth is one, but the sages call them by many names, right? You'll have many names for God. In the same way, I want to say that the principles are few. There's just a few principles explained slightly differently in the different paths that you have, right? By the way, I will be the very first place. I'm compiling all these fundamentals into one single place, and the first place that you will be able to obtain those fundamentals, right, will be in my email list. My email list will be the first to receive that. Right now, just sign up for the link for the waitlist. It's not out yet, but it will always go to my newsletter first, so make sure you sign up there. And so now let's continue. So we covered Dharma, right? So we covered like what Dharma might look like in the Bhagavad Gita, what Dharma might look like in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. What is karma? Karma tells us that our actions have consequences. If we do more good than bad, we will obtain a little bit more goodness in life, right? Well, the fruits of our reward might be a little better. But the best thing is akarma. Akarma means actions offered to God so that it doesn't generate any karma in our life, right? And so now let's say karma yoga. Karma yoga is selfless action, right? This is in the Bhagavad Gita. They tell you, Krishna tells us, take action selflessly without attachment to the fruits of your actions. Now in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, where does it say it? It says aparigraha, non-possessiveness, raga and dvesha, attachment, right? So these are the causes of suffering. The causes of suffering are relying on our senses, okay? Relying on our senses. So if now my tongue starts craving sugar, starts craving cake, and there's no cake, right? It's late at night, everything is closed, so now I'll start to suffer because I'm craving. It's addiction, right? Addiction to gambling, to alcohol, to cigarettes, to drugs, to sugar, right? That causes suffering. Again, that's attachment. That's what our senses are pulling towards us. And then there is the thing that our senses are pushing away from us, which is if I'm cold, right? I don't want to be cold, so my senses is pushing that feeling away from me. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. It's mentioned, and in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? So also, if you're studying like the prayers and the mantras, you will see that in the essence of the mantra. So for example, for Asatoma Sadgama, it's a Shanti mantra found in the Vedas, right? But what is that mantra telling us? What is the essence of that mantra? It is that we want to lead us from death to immortality, right? So that's a mantra in the Vedas. Where is it in the Bhagavad Gita? Jnana Yoga, transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge, right? What does transcendental knowledge teach us? It is that we are not the body, we are the observer, the witness, the Atman that is connected to God, and that part of us is immortal, is unperishable, is untaintable, right? So now we found it in the Vedas, in the Shanti mantras. We found it in the Bhagavad Gita. Where is it in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras? Okay? Where is it in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras? The Patanjali Yoga Sutras talk about Purusha and Prakriti. Okay? So, in the yoga system, in the yogic philosophy, in Sankhya philosophy, it is that the world is broken down into two things, into matter and that which is not matter, which is the Atman, that which is immortal, that is again connected to God, right? So everything is either perishable, the body, everything that is material has a finite quality to it, and then there's something else that is infinite, that is bigger, that is boundless, that is formless, right? So again, we're seeing that in all three different avenues, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, three different branches of Hinduism distilling the same fundamental principles, right? So the point of this video is to really just understand the fundamental principles of Hinduism. Of course, I cannot summarize all of them here. I'm working on really making it very clear and concise with all the steps. And like I said, that will go to my newsletter first, so make sure to subscribe to that. And then also I have the two things that were most confusing in Hinduism for me were understanding why do we have so many deities, so many gods, so many manifestations of God, right? So the very first video that I have pinned, the overview of all Hindu gods, will explain to you how all of them are connected, where there will be no confusion again. The second thing that I was confused about is there are so many scriptures, right? So many prayers, so many mantras, so many scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Bhagavad Gita, Ramayan, right? All these are pinned in the second video. You will understand the layout, the map of all the scriptures and how it's laid out. And once you understand these two things, these two maps, right? Now you can choose to go down the avenue of any kind of scripture, of any kind of manifestation of God. If you want to choose to follow Shiva's teachings, Krishna's teachings, you will still understand where they fall in this map of Hinduism, and then you will be able to recognize that they will be all covering the same fundamental teachings, right? This is the goal of this page. The goal of this page is to go explore whatever it is in Hinduism and distill it to the fundamental principles, so that no matter which avenue we choose, we are able to understand, okay, this is what we're talking about, and we can take that into our life without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling pressure, without feeling intimidated, feeling more connected to our religion, feel more connected to the divine, right? And being able to serve the world, to serve our families, to serve society, because our understanding of Hinduism is clear and how we can apply it in the world, right? This is the mission of this page, and also the mission of the newsletter that I will send weekly for free. So if you're enjoying my content, please sign up to my newsletter, because this is where I connect with my most loyal followers, and this is where I ask for feedback of where we want to take the content next. What do we need to cover? What do you want to see next? That's where I will be taking feedback. I hope this video made you a little more aware as a Hindu. Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.